Hello again, YouTube. This is Carnivore Zach Schott to tell my story, like I said before on my first video. I'm sorry it took so long. I'd been working and been out of town and such, as you could probably tell or not, when I was cooking in the bathroom at the motel. Anyway, my story goes like this. I'm a union painter. I've been in the trade for over 35 years, and I've always been a hard worker, seeking to work and going after it. Well, it starts out like, oh, I don't know, it seems like 8, 10 years ago, I started passing blood in my stool. And I'm the guy that didn't go to the doctor, wasn't going to go to the doctor, thinking, that it's a possible bleeding hemorrhoid, blah, 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 and just dealt with it, and life went on. In 2020, later part of the year, I was working. I'd set a goal to work as many days possible straight in a row to set a new personal record. I got up to 56 days straight all along. I have cancer. Didn't know this. Anyway, I was losing weight. I was at 210 and dropped down to 168 within around 4 months. I got through the 56 days straight through, no days off. And then the company went back to 50 hours a week, and then I was off every weekend basically. And I was, just making sure that I had enough hours in and keeping my job and such. The job finally was over with in January of 2021, and that's when I went in to go get checked out to see what's going on. Right away, I had a colonoscopy and discovered colorectal cancer right away. And of course, I'm devastated. Couldn't believe what was going on and everything. And I believed in the doctors and such, as everybody does, and went with their lead on going into chemotherapy. Two full rounds. The first one was with a port in here in my chest. You can probably see that scar there or not. Anyway, I was being administered chemotherapy every other week. 2 days, 2 days of that, each of those every other week. I had a pump with a hose put on me for 48 hours. I'm getting chemo, pushed into my body, blah, 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 to help try to fight this cancer, what have you. And on Thursday, I'd go in and get it taken out, and so on. Went through that process. After that process, they sent me into radiology. Went through 28 days, 5 days a week of radiation. I've got two dot tattoos on my hips from where they line up the lasers with these marks on my pelvis to blast the cancer to try to kill it. Well, all these things, I'm entrusting the doctors to take care of me, and Lord willing, I'm going to make it through this. And my only goal was to go back to work. I was believing that if I can be able to just go back to work, everything else would fall into place. So comes about the cancer is not being destroyed as it was hoped for, and I didn't know what else to do. I was not researching like I have after the fact of what I've been through, which was totally my ignorance. I went through surgery in October of 2021, started a recovery. However, they started giving me a post chemo to make sure there's no other cancers or what have you in me. I didn't last long on that. They give me a first dosage. I made it through that one. The second round, I passed out, was taken to the hospital, and the doctor just said, hey, he's had enough, and took me off of it, and went about trying to, recover from all this. And come to find out, by through all the doctors and professors that I've been watching on YouTube, I'm going to name off and, an appreciation for them helping me through all this and for the rest of my life. But anyway, they had been telling me, go back and eat your normal diet, blah, 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 as I was going through this process, not having a clue that cancer cannot live without sugar. So here I was going through chemo, radiation, and eating my regular, what I would normally and such. Come to find out, they're trying to kill it, and I'm over here feeding it with sugar. It didn't work. The cancer just took off and was fighting just like anything would, fighting for life. Well, while it's getting radiation and chemo, thrown at it, I'm feeding it sugar to help keep it survive. It's sickening to me, to think about it. And then, anyway, I went through the surgery and, recovered after 2 months of infection, drainage, and such. Is quite an experience in pain and everything, and I just kept fighting, not giving up. Well, long story short is I found out about a guy named I ain't even going to say his name. He's had the same identical 10-centimeter colorectal cancer that I had. This is a year later after the fact of me going through surgery and everything I did, and come to find out that this guy healed himself 4 months after going in himself for chemo or 1 or 2 rounds. He told the doctor that he's going to try something else. He went into a fasting and eating proper human diet, basically. And 4 months later, he's cured himself. So, you can imagine how I felt. I was just about destroyed right there in anger and betrayal. I can sit here and think now that these doctors and nurses that were there to help me and all were just doing their job. They were not helping me. They were going by, as some of the doctors say, go by the protocol, how we deal with cancers and such in the hospital. They're not going to tell you that the things you need to do that's not going to cost money. They're after insurance money and or any money that you can give them for payments and such that you have, you got deductibles and blah blah blah. Well, it's just a business to them. I don't understand how nurses and doctors would get into the field starting out wanting to help people and then come to find out they're not, because they're like clueless to taking care of the human body, I guess. And the way of the food manufacturers and medical establishment is basically working for each other is sickening. And I don't understand all how people can go through knowing that they're hurting people and destroying lives and going about like everything's normal. It's sad, very sad. I'm trying to either by myself or with help of others to sign up with me on a possible class action lawsuit against the establishment. Medical, number one, the people that did what they did to me and what they're doing to others right now today, I'm sure. I know that. And the food manufacturers are all guilty of this. on my life. We've all been lied to about how to take care of ourselves, and whatever you eat's just fine. That's just like saying, okay, well, I can go eat whatever I want every day, all day long. Like some people have said, I'd live off candy, cookies, and this and that. Wouldn't gain no weight when you're young, but things take time, and destruction is inevitable. So, anyway, I just want to, put it out there that I'm a carnivore now, and with the threat of possibility of cancer with the radiation and chemo that I went through is a threat still in my life in the future from the treatment they give me. So I'm on a carnivore diet to get a head start on that battle to keep at bay and hopefully my mitochondria through Dr. Seatbelt or Professor Seatbelt Freed is going to help me, understand all that, and he's definitely doing that. This guy is really good. I mean, him and here's a list of the doctors that I've been watching on YouTube, and I want to give all of them a high five because they're out to try to save everybody's lives. For the people that's going to understand and care about other people like I do. Now it's like, man, I can't go anywhere without wanting to say something to people that's overweight, they're in wheelchairs, cane, anything. I find myself just walking up to them and throwing it out there. And some people don't want to hear it, as obviously, but I just let them know sometimes that nobody else is telling you about it. So you might want to think about something like this. If you've never been told something, you might want to look into it then. So anyway, here's a list of doctors and professors I've been watching on YouTube, and I want to let them know that they are fantastic. They are the true doctors the United States and the world need now because of all the sickening situations in the hospitals and in everyday life. You see people that are unhealthy. When I was a kid, I'm 62. When I was a kid, there wasn't too many obese people. When I was a kid growing up, a lot of people were. I'm sorry to say it, but I made fun of people that were overweight and this and that when I was a kid. Thinking that was funny or whatever, but it's not. It's sad, and nowadays it's like commonplace. So it's definitely a change that's been seen over my lifetime in everyday population health, in just observation daily. From back when I was a kid to now is definitely totally different for all the people that are obese, sickly, everything, and it's all coming from what you eat, and it's really sad. Oh yeah, I stick to beef, butter, bacon, and eggs like Dr. Ken Berry has been doing. And like I said, here's a list of the doctors and professors. I'm sorry I get sidetracked and keep jumping back and forth on subjects, but anyway, uh, Dr. Ken Berry, I tell him he's my doctor, and he's redeemed himself from uh, being the same doctors that we're talking about now. He's in God's eyes, I think God sent this man to help change lives and maybe the world, Lord willing. But anyway, Dr. Ken Berry, Professor Thomas C. Freed, Dr. Anthony Chafee is high on my list. I like watching him all the time. Dr. Ken Berry, Paul Mason, Dr. Robert Kiltz, Professor Ben Bickman, Dr. Robert Lustig, and there's so many others that, any one of these doctors or professors have got videos on YouTube, and you just branch off to every another doctors and professors, and they're all talk about the same thing. The medical establishment is running on excuse my French, they're running on ass. And all they're doing is thinking about the dollar sign. And it's sad to say the dollar sign's more important than people's lives. The way the food manufacturers and medical establishment has been operating the last 100 some years. So anyway, I hope I got my story out there somewhat. Maybe I can start doing some videos here and there on different topics in my life and how I'm trying to reach out to everybody. Do my little share on trying to reach people that know me or seen me or in the workplace. I meet a lot of people when I go to different jobs around the country. I've been mainly in the Midwest, being an industrial painter, and I look forward to a busy summer. So this is the beginning of my story anyway. I'm not the greatest conversationist or a person to be doing this type of thing, but I just wanted to reach out to everybody and let them know that there is a different way, and the way to go is beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. Carnivore, ketovore, any lifestyle change away from sugar and carbs in your life is the way to go. So, love y'all. Thanks, doctors and professors. Keep at it, man, because you got one #1 fan right here rooting for y'all. Hey, have a good one, y'all. Thanks. Bye-bye.